It's the show that you should be watching, listening, and basing your entire life on. It's the Mike Sasson Show live here at Mr. Small's studio here in beautiful Millvale, Pennsylvania. It actually was a very nice day today, and I enjoyed it because in January when it's like 50 degrees, it's like it's 80. People were walking around like, shirts off, women were just frolicking in the wonderful sunshine. It was a beautiful day, and I hope you enjoyed it wherever you are, because we are listened to across the planet Earth on www.riversedgepgh.com, where, again, you could get the best local talk and best local music. You know what? Scrap that. You can get the best talk and the best music. Forget this local BS. I don't like it. This is the best talk show on the planet Earth. It's scientifically tested. We got people in lab coats spending millions of dollars at corporations that essentially run the universe, and they admit that this is the most important and greatest show in the history of live internet radio. Again, my name's Mike Sasson. That over there is Alex Clemens, producer extraordinaire, first ballot Hall of Famer in the Internet Radio Hall of Fame, which is currently outside of an old Roy Rogers in Omaha, Nebraska. They keep moving it. It's like a tourist thing. It's like when they used to have will you remember, Alex? Do you remember when they brought around the they apparently had live people, but they put together their bones and they put them in it was at the Science Center for 6 months.
What?
Remember this? No. When they had people that what happened was they were dead. And so they took off all their skin. Yeah, they took off all their skin, and then they put them in their bones like they were real people, and they had them doing stuff like playing soccer or, whatever. And it turns out that they were from China, and the people that they did, no one knew hey, how did these people, why did they agree to be part of some sort of exhibit that was going around the world? And I never saw it.
Maybe that was in their wills.
Maybe it was. I don't know.
There was always in my will.
Yeah. Would you put that in your will?
Yeah.
Both my grandparents on my mother's side donated their bodies to science.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's what those people did.
Yeah, who knows?
Science.
Or they just got $50, like in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. They always sat there, and they at the end when they open up the body, and someone goes, "Well, who is this?" He goes, "It's more or less like a transient." And they go, "How much did they get?" And they go, $40. And then Spicoli, played by Sean Penn, best role he ever did, he goes, "Righteous bucks." Oh, me and my brother always do that to each other. If someone will sit there and be like, "Hey," he'll be like, "Hey, you did a comedy show. How much did you get paid?" I'm like, "Oh, $200." He goes, "Righteous bucks." So that's what we do.
I like it.
There you go. But you know what? You might be listening to us on www.riversedgepgh.com, or you might be listening to us on TuneIn Radio across the planet Earth, or you might be listening to us after the fact on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play, or you might be watching us, our beautiful faces, here on Facebook Live. Again, we'll be talking about the pressures of stand-up comedy. I had it was a very fun show, but it was a kind of a pressure-filled show, so I'll talk about it a little later. Also, Alex tried we were eagerly awaiting the Taco Bell French fries.
Yes.
So on the first day, on opening day, Alex waited outside of a Taco Bell in a tent and waited for them to open up, and then walked in and demanded that they make French fries for her.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did.
I was always, we'll get to it, but one thing that I was a little bit perturbed is the fact that you didn't give them a couple days to figure out how to do it. You did the first day.
They should know.
Yeah, but you're at your job, if they come up with a new computer system, yeah, you could go to training and stuff like that, but the first couple days, there's going to be some screw-ups.
But then I want to know how they evolved and changed.
So have you had it? Oh, I don't want to ruin it. I want to go later on. You have to listen, because French fries, Taco Bell, and Alex go together like French fries, Taco Bell, and Alex.
Yeah.
But also we'll be talking about how technology and my mom don't mix. and was again displayed in all of its glory. Also, later on, we'll be doing news and notes, bar thoughts and experiences, my top 5. Also, I'll be doing a review of a stupid gesture, a feudal gesture. I'll get the name of the movie right. It was on Netflix. It was about Doug Kenny, who was the guy who wrote Animal House and Caddyshack, which if you were to go up to most guys over the age of like 30 and say, what are your 2 favorite comedies of all time? 90% of them would say Animal House and Caddyshack. And it always blows their minds when you sit there and go, oh, you realize the same guy wrote both those. And they're like, whoa, he must be rich. And you're like, nope, dead. So, but yeah, he was rich when he died, which is what we all want. Anyways, again, thank you very much for listening to the show. Thank you very much to everyone who keeps supporting the show and says nice things to us.
Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. I usually get those.
Yeah.
No one
really talks to me.
No one really talks to you. I sent you a message one time. We were outside of Scarps, and a guy came up to me after the show and said to me, he goes, you know what, Mike, you're a real inspiration with your comedy. I think you're really good. This is really said, okay?
Okay, yeah, sure. No one heard this, but yeah.
He absolutely said it. He absolutely said it.
Right.
And then he said, I love how the first part you're like completely telling me I'm lying. He said I was an inspiration. Then he sat there and he goes, and I love your show. I listen to it every week. And I go, hey, I don't want to like freak you out, but Alex is inside. And he was like, no way.
But then he didn't talk to me.
Yeah.
So
I think I'm the approachable one.
So one person talked to me. You know why people don't talk to me? Because I don't even remember it.
Okay, so maybe here's the thing.
A couple weeks ago, someone did talk to me outside of Scarps. And I don't remember who it was. And I don't really remember what.
What was the, okay, did they come up to you and say, hey, I love your show, or how did they do it?
I don't think that they said that they liked it and they watched it. And then he recommended that I do something. Put it on different formats.
Okay.
Yep.
I thought it was something. I thought you were going to sit there and say something sexual or something like that. Like you sit there, you know what you should do.
You need more Jello fights on the show.
You need more Jello fights, and you need to get some strippers in there and throw bologna at their asses. And we're like, we don't have the budget.
Though?
That's like the old thing. Like back in the 70s, they would put like mayonnaise on like strippers' butts in their butts cracks.
Who's doing this?
Like old school bands. Like
this is disgusting.
Yeah, of course. This is what they did in the 70s.
Why not use tasty things?
What?
Why not use something delicious?
Well, they're not going to eat it. They just wanted to throw the bologna or the ham at the butt cheeks and see if they can make it stick.
That's really gross.
I know. Back in the 70s, that's just what people did.
I don't want that on our show.
Okay. Well, we'll keep, it's always a journey. It's a journey to see what we want on our show. Anyways, as I spoke before about it, this past weekend had a couple really fun shows. One out in Evans City. And one on Friday at the Rose Bar out in White Oak.
Sounds like a nice place.
Yeah, they're very nice. I've actually played there a couple times. Very interesting crowds. I always love when I have a joke where I talk about my mom and having many kids. And what I do is I sit there and say, hey, can anybody in this audience from a big family, can they beat 8 kids? And so one guy goes, yeah, I came from 12 kids. And I go, sir, that's amazing. What's your name? Total pause. And he looks at me and he goes, and I go, dude, I just want your name. I'm not the cops. I mean, what do you want? And he's like, Mister. And I go, okay, well, it sounds like after that many kids, your mom stopped trying to name kids. But I love it.
He's just like kid number 4.
He was just like, the 5th one that gets to eat. But that was that night. And then last night, which was very interesting, it wasn't. Am I going to rip my headphones off? What's going on over here?
No, you are not. Unless you keep doing that, you might.
Well, I mean, I'm trying to move back, but I'm being forced to keep my head in place like I'm a NASCAR driver.
No, you're just moving all around.
I know. I like to move. I'm a moving performer. I need headphones. Like I need one of those like LeBron James like wireless headphones.
Okay, we'll work on that for you.
Okay, yeah,
Mike.
Get on that. Anyway, so last night on Saturday night I was in Evans City, and it was a big event. Probably I'd say about at least 200 some odd people, sold out, and it was for pancreatic cancer research. and it was the second annual event that they had done for this.
Never in my life when I'm thinking about a charity event for something like that, and I'm like, let's get some comedians in here.
Well, that's where the pressure comes in.
Yeah.
Because, like, I tell this story and nobody believes me. One time I was at an event for cancer research, and, like, half the crowd was just stone-faced. Just absolutely stone-faced. And eventually I had found out that these 2 or 3 tables had just come from the funeral of a 12-year-old boy. So that was a rough audience. So I think under the circumstances, I crushed.
Yeah.
Under those hard circumstances. Nobody believes me when I tell them the stories about doing comedy in Western Pennsylvania. Everyone thinks doing comedy and like, oh, I was in LA and I had to sit in I was in a club. I'm like, already, it's easy. If the lights are off and the mic works, then you're already, try doing it in the back of an old man's bar in Monessen with a guy who has an open carry permit.
That sounds great.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, and hey, $50 is $50. Anyway, so it was the second annual one of these events, and I met the woman who put it together, who had pancreatic cancer affect her family and everything like that, and she just was filled with so much life and joy and all this other kind of stuff, and it just. I had to really kind of concentrate because I'm like, I don't want to be the reason why they don't have a third annual of this.
Oh.
Because I would hate to be the fact that next year they're like, hey, we're going to have another year of the pancreatic cancer research thing, and they were just like, no, we don't want to go to that. The comedians sucked.
Yeah.
That would really be bad.
I mean, it'd be good if they didn't have another one because they cured pancreatic
Yeah,
cancer.
that'd be great.
Yeah, but not for the reason that you were speaking.
Yeah, that's one of the things that always is if you bring up a point of when people run charities, they always talk about the breast cancer people who do the pink ribbons and stuff like that. They're part of these organizations that they pay each other $500,000 a year to be part of these organizations. What is their motivation to curing breast cancer? Because if they do, then their $500,000 job is out the window.
Yeah.
So it's almost like they want to continue money on treatment. That's always that's the line. He goes, "There's tons of money in treatment, no money in cures."
Yeah.
But I hope we do. I hope the money raised last night was the thing that pushed it over the top and ultimately cured pancreatic cancer. But also. So on a slightly lighter note, but also on a note that is as aggravating to me as anything in the world, I told some people before, my mom's fiance purchased her a MacBook and a printer. And when I asked her, I go, Mom, why do you need a MacBook and a printer? You're retired. You don't do work. You don't need a MacBook and a printer anymore. She goes, well, what if I need to print something? And I'm like, well, what exactly do you ever need to print? She goes, like registration for my car. And I go, Mom, you've asked me to do that for the last 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't even know how to do
What
that.
if she wants to print pictures of her grandkids and stuff?
On just a regular brother paper thing?
You can get special paper.
Well, she would, yeah, she's true. Yeah, she's going to get special paper.
A little nice, piece of paper.
Yeah, I don't know. She's not doing that. Anyway, so I'm at work, and I get a call from my mom at 3 p.m. Now, when you get a call from your mom, who rarely ever calls you, who I'm not 100% sure knows how to use a cell phone, calls you at 3 p.m, what goes through your head?
Someone died.
Someone died. Is she on the side of the road? Does she have a flat tire? Is something, a dangerous thing has happened? So I pick up the phone. I go, Mom, what's up? She's on the phone. She goes, Michael, I'm trying to set up the printer, and I'm on the phone with a gentleman from India. He says that our system is corrupted. Is there a reason why our system would be corrupted? I think is there something? I have the Verizon. Is the Verizon corrupted? I don't know what's going on. But he said that for $90 he would fix it. Should I pay him the $90? And I'm like, no.
How is this guy in India gonna fix whatever's happening?
Oh, according to him, he said $90. He goes, your whole system is corrupted. There's a reason why they're not talking to each other. All this other kind of stuff. And eventually,
hook up a printer though.
Yeah,
What the hell is corrupted?
I don't know. Okay, so the whole thing sounds like BS from the beginning. So I say, Mom, do not give this gentleman $90. If you give this person your credit card, you're buying everybody in India lunch tonight. Okay, don't do it. So she goes, well, you have to come over and fix this because I don't know how to do this. I'm like, okay, whatever. So I show up, and she gives me actually the phone number of the gentleman from India who it said, hey, if you want this, you can call him. And I go, okay. I go, where's the printer? It's over there. I go, what have you done so far with this? She opened up, she turned it, she plugged it in, she turned it on. It like had an animation because it's supposed to be for people that aren't technically, real great, to open the door and put in the toner.
Yeah.
She opened the door, pulled out the stopper with the toner, assumed she broke the machine, put the stopper back, and then turned off the machine and then called the guy from India. That's all she had done.
At least she plugged it in and turned it on. I thought she wasn't even gonna get that far. Like she had just opened the box and then called the guy. So I'm proud of her.
Yeah, for that part I'm proud. But you know what? But the thing is she's saying I'm trying to hook up the printer. No, you're not. You were nowhere close to actually hooking up the printer. So eventually I sit there and I hook it up. It took 10 minutes to hook up her tooth, and it's not even, we now have it over her Wi-Fi and all that other kind of stuff. And but the thing that gets me is I want to call this guy from India and say to him, I go, here's the deal. I'll pay you $290 if you could put toner in a machine from India.
Yeah.
That is amazing. How in the heck do you come up with, and I guess this is just what those, what people do is just try to screw with old people, is they'll sit there and your system is corrupted. Dun, dun, dun. And make it to where it's like somebody sitting there going, oh, this is the most dangerous thing in the history of the world. And I'm just like, how do you sleep at night knowing that you're just taking money from people, knowing that at the end of the day, the reason why it's not because the system's corrupted. It's because basically, she didn't put toner in it.
You wonder, though, if that guy is getting that money,
I bet you he has some sort of bonus if he gets X amount of people to help and, $90 or whatever, or he might be doing it on the side. I can't imagine the brother, printer company could be condoning just taking money from old ladies when clearly the whole point with the fact was it wasn't even remotely even close to being turned on correctly.
I wonder if that's something that can even happen with printers. Your system being corrupted.
It's for someone that has no idea about technology, it sounds ominous though.
It does.
It sounds like something like, oh no, I can't believe my system is corrupted. You don't want any
system to ever be corrupted.
Yeah, that's just, oh my God. That's one thing if you ever watch television where they're trying to sell to old people about, they always talk about the dark web. Is your email available on the dark web? Oh my gosh, I have dealt with so many people in my years of retail and then when I was with banking who just would not give, that those guys are taking those money and I'm just like, do you realize the person who's probably going to steal from you is one of your relatives? That's actually what's going to happen.
Maybe he was trying to warn her about our government, actually.
Yeah.
That's what he was doing.
He was going to take the $90 and say, "Here, everyone's spying on you."
I don't know what the $90 is for.
Yeah, the $90
just for the information.
I should be spending.
Listen, I'm going to give you some secret information right now.
But it's $90.
$90.
Yeah, it's $90 for the secret information.
Yeah. You're like, okay.
Anyways, but I'm the hero. I hooked up her printer, so now she can be a printer. But someone else is a hero, especially to the people that love late night eating after drinking. It's Alex, who this past week
everyone's always said about me.
Yep, that you're a hero to those people and to yourself. You're here's why I think that, I tagged Taco Bell. I have no idea why you don't jump on the Alex gravy train, because if you promote, this is your customer right here. This is a Taco Bell customer. You drink, you party, you want to eat. How much Taco Bell do you eat sober? I would say at least 50-50. It's sober, non-sober. Yeah. But I mean, that's what they know what they are. That's why they stay up late. Taco Bell isn't for families. They don't have a playground. It's for drunk kids after a night, and they want 79-cent tacos. That's what it's about.
I don't know. When I was younger, since I was probably 10 or so, my parents always let me pick where I wanted to go for dinner for my birthday. Mm-hmm. Go anywhere. I could go anywhere, any expensive place, and I always picked Taco Bell. You know what? Right there. That's your ad. That's your ad. This is your person, Taco Bell. So a couple weeks ago, I had the ad where I talked about the fact that they're bringing out French fries. Yeah. And we were both excited by it. I didn't know how excited you were because you messaged me a day or two before they came out and said, here's the deal. They're coming out this Thursday.
I'm going to put a video together and review them. And I'm just like, go for it. So you went to the Taco Bell, now you can get them in different things. You can get the fries and just like cheese dipping sauce or something. You got the entire like platter.
Yeah, it's basically like Nacho Supreme.
You got the Nacho Supreme, but you got the fries Supreme.
Right.
Do they call them something different besides fries?
Call them nacho fries.
Nacho fries. Okay. Nacho fries.
Yeah.
Yeah, comedic geniuses. Anyways, so don't leave people in suspense. Tell us about the experience, and would you have you had another plate of nacho fries since?
The experience was nice. It was like 10 in the morning, something like that, because I had to go to work. And I don't know. They were really good.
But 10 in the morning?
Yeah. What?
So you might have gotten the first one, like the first time they ever.
I did not get the first ones.
You might have.
Someone had to have gotten them.
At 10 a.m. You think someone
I felt
at
like
9?
They would have congratulated me if I got the first ones.
I bet you those people are so hopped up on goofball, they don't even know what's going on.
Hopped up on goofball.
That's what the kids do. They're hopped up on goofball.
Mike just turned 90 years old.
I know. Some 90-year-old sayings are fun to say. Those kids are hopped up on goofball. I like it.
But it was a good breakfast. Like it has it's basically just fries with cheese and taco meat and sour cream, and then they say that it has like pico de gallo on it, but it's really just a couple tomatoes, a couple diced tomatoes on there.
Which is essentially what pico de gallo is. It's just like in a
better.
Okay, yeah. It just sounds great. Ooh, do you want some pico de gallo?
Yeah, it sounds way fancier than
if a guy was
a couple diced tomatoes.
If a guy was named Pico de Gallo, you'd go out with him. Like, you'd be like, ooh, I'm going out with Pico de Gallo tomorrow night.
Yeah, I try and marry into that.
Yeah, you want to be Alex de Gallo?
Yeah.
There you go.
But they were really good. They kind of tasted just like nachos.
Okay.
Yeah.
But in terms of the fries.
They had like seasoning on them that made them kind of taste like a taco. You know what I mean?
Okay. Well, let me ask you.
Fries that tasted like a taco.
All right. Well, let's rank the fries though for your fries experience.
1 to 10.
Well, let's go. Let's compare them. McDonald's fries to these fries.
I would pick these fries.
Really, over McDonald's?
I do like McDonald's, but sometimes they can be too salty and and they're not that flavorful.
Okay.
You know? McDonald's fries are kind of something I want when I'm like hungover and I just need some grease in my stomach.
Mm-hmm.
But these fries were more flavorful.
Ah.
Yeah, you can get a bunch of shit on top of them.
There you go.
You know, McDonald's doesn't do that for me.
Well, yeah, how about Wendy's? Wendy's fries compared to these. Wendy's, you can get the cheese and the bacon on it.
Yeah, but sometimes their fries are too boring too.
Okay.
They're like too thick now to. Sometimes they're really good. Sometimes they're real boring.
Okay.
Too potato-y.
Yeah. So Alex isn't a big fan of girth in terms of fries. Now, Burger King, do we even mention their fries?
I like their fries.
I know I mean, anything that's fried potatoes are good, but I would say of the fry, like battle, I would say that they usually come in third.
I mean, Chick-fil-A is usually my favorite fry.
I don't even count as a fry. That's a waffle. That's a completely different thing. It's pretty damn good.
It's still fries.
Okay, now let me ask you a question. If they put taco meat, sour cream, and pico de gallo on the waffle fries,
That would be good.
well,
I'd be all for that.
Well,
They should at least put chicken on their waffle fries, you know?
do they have chili? They don't have chili too.
Why would you want chili?
Well, I mean, like, what's something? Like, then we get, like, something.
Ugh.
You don't like chili fries?
No,
That's terrible.
I don't want that.
Really?
I don't want that.
You don't want that?
No.
You like taco meat, but you don't like chili, which is just basically
No,
like
I love
taco
chili.
meat's
I
like.
just don't want it on my fries.
But you like the taco meat, which is
different.
essentially. No, it's not.
It's different seasoning.
It's
It's the
pretty.
same meat, obviously, but it's different seasoning.
I would say taco meat and chili are almost like brothers. That's almost the same thing.
But not the same thing.
It is totally the same thing.
No, brothers aren't the same thing.
Well, I mean, like they're pretty close. Like me and my brother,
Yeah,
I
they're
would say
pretty
I'm
close,
chili and
but
he's taco
not
meat.
the same.
Yeah. Pretty
Not the
close.
same.
But I mean, like to say that you love one and then you're like, ew, the other. That's kind
I
of
like
weird.
chili. I just don't want it on my fries.
Okay. By the way, in the pancreatic cancer buffet food beforehand, the main dish was chili.
That's a really weird main
We
dish.
all were very kind of like, it was very
Like
good
an
chili. It was,
appetizer, not a main dish.
but
That's
it was
weird.
the main dish. But it was very interesting because of the fact it was great chili. But we were all just kind of like, huh? Like in a sense that were there tacos with it or something? But it was very good chili. But I was just worried that by the headliner, people would just need to be like go to the bathroom a lot.
Why would there be tacos with the chili?
Because again, it's all the. You don't think that chili and tacos are kind of like brothers? Like they're all like the more of the.
You don't eat them together.
Yeah, you would. You wouldn't eat You wouldn't say that if someone had tacos and then the next thing, like someone had a thing of chili, that they wouldn't be kind of related.
But I would never eat those in the same thing.
You just said that they're not the same thing.
They're not the same thing, and I wouldn't eat them in the same time.
What
Seems weird.
It's not weird. I would say that if it was chili and pizza, that would be weird.
That seems better to me.
Okay, everything you know is wrong, just so you know that. All right, moving on. Now, the thing that always gets me about whenever I see these Taco Bell things is how difficult it is for these major corporations to stay relevant and stay cool in the eyes of people like you, especially considering you somehow have some weird, you put like chili in some weird food group. But so I have put together a list of how major corporations can stay cool. All right? This is how you do it. All right, number one, the key to being cool is try really hard to look like you're not really trying. That's the key. That's being cool. If you're trying too hard, because like you don't want to be the person, especially if you're like, it's like if you're the old guy who says, "Hey kids, want to listen to the hip hop," and then you're like, "Ew, get away from me! You're an old man. I hate you." You don't want to do that. But you have to. So just the key is with any corporation, like with the chili fries, that's what it was weird about. It was like they kind of veered off because no one had ever assumed fries at Taco Bell, but they made it kind of their own. So we'll see if people like kind of embrace it.
Right.
But again, it's trying really hard something completely different to not look like it's really hard because it's like, oh, it's just it's just taco meat and stuff like that on something else, even though they're kind of bringing in almost a new sustenance into the facility.
Right.
Number one, another thing is understand things change. Number three, embrace the challenge. Like one thing I was talking to another comedian one time about was he was a little bit older than me. He was like in his 50s, whatever. And he was talking about that he works colleges a lot. And he says he doesn't even try to quote unquote like keep up with any sort of like relevant bands or relevant anything. He just does his thing and just gets out of there. And the funny thing about it is I said to him, I go, you know what? I actually, as many times as I want, I like to go in front of audiences that I'm not accustomed to. Mm-hmm. Like I can talk to people in their 30s and 40s till the day I die. That's easy. They're my people. They grew up with the same stuff I did.
Right.
But I actually like going in front of college kids and seeing, okay, how do I relate to this audience? I like going in front of older people. A week or so ago, I played a venue out in the Mon Valley in which I would say the average age of the people in the audience were in their 70s. And I view it as a challenge to be like, okay, how do I do my act? How do I do all of this stuff without appearing as though that I'm making fun of them for like, being old, but obviously it's the elephant in the room. I got to do all that. I just embrace the challenge. Like, and Jay Leno one time said that he kind of did the same thing, is that he booked himself at Oral Roberts University, which was like a devout Christian university, simply because he wanted to see if he could do an hour in front of him.
Yeah.
And to me, I think that's how you have to be as a major corporation. You just have to embrace the fact that, you know what, it's going to be difficult, but you know what, you just have to keep up with the kids. And always remember, no matter how little has changed, so much has changed. And you just have to embrace that. Like, I was thinking about this the other day. Like, if someone from a time machine came from 1980 and they'd be confused about everything and they'd be, oh my God, what's going on? They could walk into McDonald's and they could go up to them and go, hey, can I have a Big Mac, fries, and a Coke?
Right.
And they could say, okay, here you go. Here's Big Mac, fries, and a Coke. And they'd be like, okay, but obviously it looks a little different. It's, obviously the people are dressed a little different. There's obviously
more expensive.
More expensive, more options, all this other kind of stuff. But fundamentally, it's still a place where you get burgers, fries, and a Coke. And the same thing with Taco Bell. They sat there and they said, hey, fundamentally, we're trying something a little new. We're bringing in French fries, but we're seasoning with taco meat, and we're making them kind of our own. So someone who walks in here, if someone comes in here from 20 years ago, like, hey, what's going on with Taco Bell? It's like, oh, we have French fries now, but it has like taco meat and salsa and stuff on it and pico de gallo. They'd be like, oh, cool, pico de gallo sounds cool.
When they're discussing their business plans, they're always like, just in case, guys, just in case someone comes like from the past to our store, just in case time machines get invented, we gotta be on that shit.
We have to. My only thing is about, like, people always say that like time machines could theoretically be possible. And I always wonder, like, it makes me kind of sad because I'd assume that if in the future I'm famous, that there would be somebody who would want to, in the past, go, hey, I'd like to meet Mike Sasson before he's famous. But yet, or maybe every weird encounter I've had with a person is actually someone from the future, and they have to be like, okay, you could talk to him, but you can't bring up the fact that you're from 2045 when he's super, like, famous. So you have to do something weird. So you have to walk into him and just be like, hey, you smell weird. And like, get out of here, you loser. Like, have you ever, maybe that's what, like, all the people at the bar who are, like, looking at you and staring at you weirdly, you're like, oh, I must be no, it's because in the future, Alex Clements' face is on money. And you're just like, why are you looking at me weirdly? And you're just trying to eat your chicken wings.
I hope that my face is on money someday.
What denomination?
I don't know, something weird.
Like a $3 bill?
Yeah.
I don't know. I want the one. I want the top.
Is that the top?
I think it's the most
like
used.
A $100 bill would be.
I'm saying it's the top in terms of the most used and the most visited.
But whose hands do you want your money in?
I don't know, but they still give dollar bills to strippers, so I'm saying that ends up in a good place.
But I want mine.
And you still roll up dollar bills for Coke.
I want mine like they do pounds, where it's the queen on it, but every year they put like an updated picture of her.
So you want them to update the picture of Alex?
Yeah. As I get older.
Okay.
I want it to be very realistic.
Well, let me ask you a question. If they put Alex on the $3 bill, you don't want them to pick like a picture of like, from like when you were 20 years old or 30 years old or whatever. No. One thing I've always thought of is like, what happens if, let's say, you meet your soulmate or you have met your soulmate or whatever, and you eventually go to heaven, and are you in heaven as the moment you died? Are you in heaven for the image of you yourself in which you are the happiest? So if you meet your soulmate up there, you meet your husband or whatever, and you walk in and your husband is like, no, I was happiest when I was 8. And you're like, well, I was happiest when I was 32. And you're like, all right, now I got to, my soulmate's 8 years old and I got to hang out with him all day.
It's heaven. You can do whatever the fuck you want.
But then do you have to be like, I don't know, this is kind of weird.
Find another guy.
But he's your soulmate. He's like your compadre. He's your dude. I love that's your response. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you could just go do anything you want.
Would you yell at the 8-year-old going, no, you're supposed to be in your 30s. Your happiest moment is supposed to be when you were with me. And you're just like, no, it was when I was playing Little League. And you're just like, ugh.
I respect his choices.
You really do?
Yeah.
But he would be like...
Understanding human being.
Well, yeah.
Even in heaven.
Even in heaven, you're a pretty good human being.
Yeah.
That's why we gave her own segment, Bar Thoughts and Experiences, and that segment starts right after this break. Again, you're listening to The River's Edge at www.riversedgepgh.com, or you're listening to us on TuneIn Radio, or one of the many podcast formats, or you're watching us on Facebook Live. Again, my name's Mike Sasson. That's Alex. We'll be back in a couple seconds. Bye.
Brian Crawford letting you know that Kevin Slogic, my State Farm agent in Allison Park, is here to help life go right and reminds you that you're listening to the River's Edge Radio Network.
Hey River's Edge listeners, Alex here from the Mike Sasson Show, and boy have I got to tell you about Salon 22, a small local business located right here in Millville. I got my hair colored there about 2 weeks ago, and I still can't stop staring at myself. They use this awesome new technique called color melting to make me look like a mermaid. But don't worry, if mermaid hair isn't your thing, they'll meet all your hair goals. With things like balayage, rose gold, unicorn hair, ombre, as well as monochromatic color, which is your standard basic coloring. Seriously, they do it all and they do it good. Check Salon 22 out on Facebook and mention this ad when you make your appointment to receive a free color lock service to help preserve your color. It's a $20 value for free. I'm not kidding. Book your appointment now by calling 412-822-7222. That's 412-822-7222.
It is the Mike Sasson Show. I'm trying to do something on the Instagram. trying to post it so people watch us because that's what it's about with the kids. You got to do the social media. And that's why we have Alex Clemens here on the Mike Sasson Show, producer extraordinaire, co-host extraordinaire. She loves to get her drink on, and then she loves to talk to you about it here at www.riversedgepgh.com or on TuneIn Radio or on Facebook Live or on SoundCloud, iTunes, or Google Play. It's Bar Thoughts and Experiences with Alex. Alex, play your song.
Maybe y'all can relate. My style's dope any way that you slice it. It's a fresh cut, hope that you like it. About to open up a
So what happened this week, Alex, in the world of Alex and drinking?
I've had like so many thoughts. Isn't that crazy?
Isn't it crazy you have thoughts? That's incredible. By the way, big save by getting me a headphones that I can now lean back with.
Oh, thank God. Do you just need to be farther away from me?
I would say you would prefer if I did this show in another state.
Yeah, hopefully.
Technology someday.
What I'm trying for. Anyways, yeah, I had a lot of thoughts this week. A couple of them. First of all, today, no real football today. Mm-hmm. No, real football.
Yeah, the Pro Bowl sucks.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it.
So no real football today, and I got beef stew, which is like one of my favorite things ever.
Where?
At my parents' house.
Do they make it from scratch or do they do Dinty Moore?
What?
That's like the brand of of canned beef stew.
Oh, I don't even know what that is. So,
But your
that.
it's just like a can of beef stew and you put it in whatever.
Well, my dad made that.
That's awesome.
But so I got to like spend time with them, and no one was watching football, and like we talked, and it was great.
What did you watch anything around the television?
As like towards the end of it, we were watching the what are those called? The Grammys.
You're watching the Grammy on the.
I only saw like 5 seconds of it, so it was okay.
There you go. Hope someone's winning. Important because it's important to win a Grammy.
It really is.
It really is.
Just to validate yourself. But I went to get food earlier at a bar, and they were playing flag football on TV, like as part of the, what do they call that? The Pro Bowl?
The Pro Bowl, yeah. Yeah, I think they were having kids do it or something.
Yeah, it was like 15-year-olds, and they were showing them play flag football. What
Yeah.
the hell is the point of having that on TV? That's
What's the point of any-
It
what-
made me so angry, to
What's-
be honest. Like, why can't they just play regular football? Like, if you are able to wear real glasses while you're playing a sport, you probably just shouldn't play it.
That's the whole point right now with the NFL. They're trying because participation in youth football is going down because everybody's concerned about concussions and all that other kind of stuff. And so they're trying to find alternative ways for kids can still play football and still enjoy it. And so they're trying to get people to play flag football. And so this is why that, like in the funny, I always find it funny that when they evaluate players, especially for like going from high school to college, one of the main things they do is what's called 7-on-7, which is just really organized flag football.
Yeah.
And so kids get scholarships to go play real football based upon what they look like playing essentially touch football. And it always aggravates the shit out of me. Because, like, at some point, you're going to get tackled. At some point, someone's going
Right.
to blitz and hit you. And you evaluated and gave a $200,000 college scholarship to a kid that you've actually never seen live get hit. And you wonder why then 3 years later the kid sucks.
I think that flag football really bothers me, one, because I don't have the coordination for it. Like, I'm much better at tackling someone than I am than grabbing a flag off of them. Like, it's not in my brain to be able to be good at
the
that.
big thing about flag football, which is always a frustrating thing, is like every year the comedians would play a game of flag football. Because one year,
they're delicate.
Well, one year we actually did play tackle, and a comedian broke his arm.
Yeah, that sounds
And
right.
since no comedian has health insurance, everyone was just like, we should not
can't do
do
this.
that. Yeah. So what usually would happen was there'd always be the one thing where people would grab try to drew the flag, and they'd miss, and then they'd run down the field, and everyone's like, oh, in real football, you would have gotten tackled. Or even worse, you pull down someone's pants, or even worse, you grab someone's junk. That's always what's rough. Like if you were playing flag football, one thing is people are, they're trying to grab flags. They're grabbing your butt, and you're pulling down your pants or pulling whatever. So they're trying to grab flags and stuff like that. So it actually sometimes leads to a little bit more of an issue than if actually someone would have tackled you.
Damn it, I didn't see any of that today. I didn't see anyone grabbing any junk.
Well,
but I guess it would be a little weird since they're like 15.
They probably would have sat there and went, hey, he just grabbed his junk. And then they would have but by the way, if you have any junk, call 1-800-JUNKMEN or something like that. They would have maybe done some advertisement off of it. Now, be honest with yourself. Can you be honest with yourself?
Sure, I guess.
Would you say that you're a good athlete?
No.
Really?
I'm a horrible athlete.
You have no coordination.
I don't have very much coordination.
Never were good. You never
Very
played any sport as a youth?
When I was 5, I played softball.
Okay.
I was on the same team as my sister, who's 3 years older than me. I was not I don't think I was the youngest on the team, but I was really bad. So they had me hit off of a tee.
Okay.
And there's video evidence of me trying to hit off of a tee and failing probably 10, 15 times. They really just let me keep going. They're like, maybe sometime she'll get this.
Yeah.
And then after a while, they just gave up and they just had me walk the bases.
There you go.
It was really sad. So that's my coordination.
That's your level
for the most part. And then I did track in middle school when I was in 7th grade, and I lost every race that I ran.
Oh, that's sad. So that was the end of that?
It really is sad. So yeah. I mean, I guess I was coordinated with dance, but I can tackle people. I've played football, with my friends, and I can tackle people, but, I don't really think that's much coordination.
Maybe your internal rage comes out. You need a sport where it's physical and you can bring out your inner hatred.
I don't know how much inner hatred I have.
I think there's tons.
I just like to, I don't know. It was also me playing with a bunch of guys.
Okay.
So, you kind of I had to prove myself. And
Prove what?
I'm not good at anything else. I'm not good at catching a football. I'm not good at throwing a football. So what else is there to do besides tackle people?
Okay.
Did
you play powder puff at Baldwin?
I did.
And how did that go?
I sacked the quarterback. It was flag football. And that was the one good thing that I did in the game.
I coached. Obviously, they had the football team coach the girls in the powder puff.
Yeah.
There were some big time brawls in our flag football.
Really?
Because there were some hatred. Anytime you sat there.
That's something you face when you put all of girls in a sport like that.
Yeah, every junior and senior girl on a field, there were some.
Yeah, and it's not like they have to be good at anything.
Yeah.
Just here, go throw a football around.
Yeah, and they said they were just throwing some haymakers.
Yeah.
It was, and they were pulling each other's hair and all that kind of stuff. And because they were trying to cut costs, they really didn't have real referees. They just had a gym teacher and one of the football coaches be the refs. And they're just oh my God, I'm trying to get in between these two girls, pulling each other's hair and stuff like that.
I don't remember that happening at ours.
I don't know.
But I also don't remember much of it. I only remember what I did well. So,
really? Okay.
Who cares about the rest of it?
We
did win, though.
Oh,
my team won.
Both years?
I was only on it junior year.
What happened senior year? You didn't come back for the big
I didn't care.
Go to back-to-back?
It was too cool senior year.
See, that's the problem. Too cool. I
cool
coached
for school.
the junior year we won, and then the senior year, the juniors actually had a girl who could kick field goals. And so that was a big unfair thing.
I don't remember if we did that or not.
Very coordinated to be able to kick real field goals. They had field goals going ahead.
Legitimate field
goals. But the best powder puff player in the history of the world was my sister Mary. And it just shows you what type of person she is and how smart she is. She went up to me and my brother, who were both, obviously played college football, and said, I'm playing nose guard. How do I do this?
What does that mean?
She was the defensive lineman over the center.
Why do they call it that?
Because, again, they put a nose, meaning you head up nose on the center and all this kind of stuff. So they called her the nose guard.
Okay.
So I said, here's what you do. Get in a 3-point stance, which actually was illegal. You're supposed to be in a 2-point, but
oh my God.
The refs weren't.
Mike, what are you telling her?
I know. And I said, shoot the gap between the guard and the center at the snap of the ball and just wreck shit. And we worked on her stance and we worked on her get off, meaning when the ball snapped, getting into the gap. And she might have had at least 12 to 15 tackles for a loss in her powder puff game because no one knew how to block her. And then just showing them how stupid her coaches were, because they're a bunch of like junior dudes. They kept rotating players, and I'm just like, as soon as they took her out, the other team would like go down the field and score. And I'm like, no, keep her in the game.
Yeah.
And they were just like, no, we like this girl and everything. So, but it's good to know that, Alex uncoordinated. But okay, go ahead. Anything else?
Yeah. So, this happens like I don't know, a couple weeks ago, the Hawaii like missile thing.
Yeah.
You heard about that? Mm-hmm. So apparently Pornhub released this thing.
Okay.
I don't know how completely true this is.
Okay.
But it seems true. Pornhub releases stats about things all the time.
Okay.
Because they're great people.
Yeah, because they know how to
They're
just
a great
do
company.
stuff. Yeah, they just know how to do stuff.
I'm gonna start working for them. Anyways.
By the way, the porn awards were this past weekend.
Damn it! Why would you not tell me that? You tell me everything else, but you didn't tell me that.
Maybe it was in news and notes.
What? After the fact.
Yeah, well, I mean, it wasn't on television. It's going to be on Showtime like in a couple weeks.
Ugh.
Yeah. So you don't know who's won Best Anal yet.
Them. We could have figured out how I could have gone to them.
Yeah. Some year when we know when we've got the big time budget, I will send you to the AVNs.
I think maybe we do need to have some Jello fights. Maybe then people will be like, "Hey, they do Jello fights. Maybe they'd want to come to the porn awards."
I'm all for the Jello fights. But okay.
Anyways,
all right.
This statistic, basically they said Pornhub saw a massive drop in traffic from Hawaii during ballistic missile alert, then saw a large increase 1 minute after the alert was revealed to be false. So immediately afterwards, it's like, oh, cool, we're okay. Let me go back to watching my porn now.
Because everyone was like, oh my God, I'm going to meet my maker. I don't want the last thing to ever have me done is...
Do you think you would think that way? I feel like if maybe if I was watching porn beforehand, like I was already watching it and then I like got that alert on my phone and then like a little while later they're like, oh, everything's cool. And you're like, all right, okay.
I wanted to ask it the week it happened, but it was I thought it might have been a little just too dark.
Insensitive.
Yeah, so I kind of just glossed.
Soon.
Yeah. All right. You get that message.
Yeah.
Where it's like the missiles are coming. You got 10 minutes.
Yeah.
What are you doing with your last 10 minutes?
Oh, it's really hard to probably go see my family. But I probably couldn't make it.
Yeah.
I heard this story about this dad who had his 2 daughters in 2 different colleges, and he basically had to decide like which one he was going to pick up because he couldn't get to both of them in time.
Oh,
so he had to
wow.
like pick which one.
Wow.
Yeah.
You want to talk about like, one daughter really despising you for the rest of your life.
Yep. I would just stay at home, dude.
Yeah.
Just
take the
give
missile.
him a call. Skype with them. I don't know. But yeah, I.
Okay, but let me ask you a question. So the missiles are coming. You get the thing on the TV. 10 minutes later, some dude, you're just like randomly out in the city. Some dude's like, hey, let's go out with a bang. Are you going for it?
What am I doing?
You're screwing.
Oh.
You ever seen Spies Like Us?
No.
But Spies Like Us, that scenario happened where
I
like.
don't think so. I feel no.
You would still be like, no, we're friends.
I think I'd probably try and call everyone that like I loved.
Okay.
And be like, hey, if I was by myself, say
Okay.
the hypothetical situation is that you're by yourself.
Or
when
the
this
hypothetical.
happens. Yeah. So I call everyone that I love, and then I think I just like sit there and take it all in, and just think about stuff. Because I feel like if you try and do too many things, you're just gonna be disappointed.
Yeah.
Like if you try and make it to your family and you're like a couple minutes too short, you're like, fuck, I didn't even see my family, and I've just been driving.
Yeah.
In chaos. You
Yeah.
probably get in a wreck anyways, because that's what everyone else is doing.
Yeah, maybe you just like in your house, you would just go out on the deck, crack open a beer, and just like go
Enjoy the sunset. I don't
Yeah.
know when this is happening.
Just like
but-
just drink some beer and just go.
Yep.
See you later.
How bad would it be though if you had expected, like you got that alert, and then you're like, well, I might as well just kill myself, and then killed yourself, and then nothing happened.
Well, you'd be dead anyway, so I don't know if
Yeah.
that would happen.
So I guess.
I think the worst thing would be if, let's say, the whole thing with like, hey, let's go out with a bang, and then like just some random dude and you just get together, and then like you go, hey, wait a minute, it didn't happen, and then all of a sudden this guy's just like, see ya.
And then you're pregnant.
Yeah, and you just have to look at the just missile baby.
You name it Missile.
Yeah. Miss a disappointment, whatever. And hopefully it's a good athlete. That's
Yeah.
all you can do.
Sure.
Boom. Anything else?
That's all we hope for in life for our
That's
kids.
what I completely hope for.
No, I'm good. I'm good. Let's talk about something else. You want to talk about your 5 takes?
Okay.
We'll like take in all of that. You have to think about that missile stuff.
Okay.
It's a lot to put on people.
I'm sorry.
It's very emotional.
I know. I'm sorry. That's why I didn't bring it up the first time.
I know, but it's a fun, I don't know. Porn. Is that uplifting? Does that make it more uplifting?
There's one thing about this show. I've attempted to make it uplifting, failed miserably. Anyways, it's the top 5 takes. Play my song.
Oh, okay. I will. Don't worry. What you got for us, Mike?
All right. First and foremost, Ben Shapiro, who is a conservative kind of commentator, made a lot of news.
His title?
I guess.
I've always wanted to know what he's what he's supposed to be.
I don't know.
What he's making his money doing.
He gives speeches and he writes stuff and then he appears.
And people just listen to what he says.
He just professionally pisses people off.
It seems like what his title would be.
Yeah, which to be honest with you is kind of like pissing people off is kind of like if you just if you find people in the world that are ticklish and you're a professional tickler. Like, it's not that hard to figure out what pisses people off.
Right.
And so if you just sit there and you're just like, this is why feminism is stupid, and then you know that people who are feminists are going to be mad, and so that the people who don't like those people sit there and buy your book, and then you make money. That's why I always like comedians that be like, yeah, I make fun of this person, or even on both sides, people that are like hardcore liberals and making political. I always find that to be very kind of like you're just as a professional panderer. You just find your 5% of people that absolutely adore what you're saying, that want to hear whatever they think is right, and then they go to your shows and they buy your books and everything like that. Whereas I would just rather just be like, okay, this is what I think. Some of it could be viewed as liberal. Some of it could be viewed as conservative. It's just what I am. I piss everybody off, and then I'm poor. So maybe I should just pick a side.
Yeah,
maybe. All right, so Ben Shapiro, this made news this week because he went to my alma mater, the University of Connecticut.
Yes, so this hits home.
It went home. And full disclosure, I would say that UConn is a little more liberal than most just because it's in New England. But compared to other New England schools, I would say it's actually quite conservative. I mean, it's nowhere as liberal as like a Vermont or, one of these other kind of liberal arts schools that have 37 people that go to it. But the thing that got everybody bent out of shape was when he came this week, and one of the things they did was the university announced that any student that needed it, who were so distraught because he was going to be on campus and the things that he could possibly say, they were offering counseling. And so all the people kept on piling on and be like, oh, these kids are snowflakes and they're weak and they blah, blah, blah. Let me explain something to you. The reason why they did that is, number one, understand, any major university, there's a counseling program. You could go see a psychiatrist at any major university for free if your boyfriend broke up with you.
Yeah.
If you got an F on a test, if your roommate farts too much, whatever gets you upset, you could go see a counselor. The reason why they had to send an email out to everyone and say, hey, this is available, is there's 25,000 students on this campus. There's a good chance that one of them is going to sit there and be distraught, because that's just what 19, 20-year-old people sometimes get. They just get distraught.
Yeah.
Or someone is going to try to blame this occurrence on their shitty grades.
Yeah.
Someone's going to sit there and go, well, I couldn't possibly have studied for my midterms. Ben Shapiro was on campus. Trust me, there are people at every major university that have blamed anything to get out of a test. Yeah. I could possibly have studied. Ben Shapiro was on campus, and you know what kind of hate monger he is.
Know.
And so I definitely could. So again, it's all a CYA move. It's not necessarily because kids today are more. Okay, let me ask someone a little bit closer to the generation. I don't think that they're any more wimpy or any more coddled than any other generation. I just think that because of lawyers and because of people afraid of lawsuits, more things have to be made available so that people won't sue.
I feel like that we're not necessarily more coddled, but we just like speak out more. You know, I feel like
social media does that because you one tweet and all of a sudden you hashtag something and then 50,000 people see it and go from there.
Every other generation has probably felt the same as us, but like doesn't have the means to like talk about it. So.
And I also think I just think we're more of a lawyerific society to where if one
just because of that word
lawyerific.
Yeah.
It's actually the word you're supposed to use, litigious. We're more of a litigious society.
Like that word.
Okay, lawyerific society.
Yeah.
To where, again, people will sit there. All you got to have is one lawyer that wants to more or less sue a major institution and say, you should have protected kids more. Give me $500,000 and I'll go away. So I think that's all that happened. Number 4, I don't know if you heard about this. This made national news, but this happened up in Butler, Pennsylvania. There was a girl who had a pineapple allergy. And everybody in her school knew this.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, she was allergic to pineapple.
Huh.
Yeah, people could be allergic to whatever. And so what happened is some girls, this was a girl who was allergic to the pineapple, other girls in the school wanted to play a joke on her and wiped their hands with pineapple juice and found a way to high-five her. And guess what happened to the girl? She had an allergic reaction and she had to go to the hospital and all this other kind of stuff.
Did she die?
No, I don't think she's dead. I think she just, she had a bad allergic reaction, had to go to the hospital. But again, if you
I feel like this has been in so many TV shows.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it's real. It happened up in Butler, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
It made national news. Now, the one thing that got me was any news story, if you ever want to see just how crazy and psychotic some people are, read the comments underneath.
Yeah.
Like on a Facebook post when they do this. People were blaming everything you could possibly think of. Like they were saying the reason why this is happening is because we've lost God in our schools. Well, the reason why this is happening is because we've made every household into a two-income family, so there's no more mothers, and so that these girls didn't learn right from wrong. And then other people sat there and said, oh, it's only in people's minds, and that the woman, that it's the fault of the mom to have her even in the school with such a terrible allergy.
Jesus
and all
Christ.
this kind of, oh, read them. They're just insane with all this kind of stuff. Here's, in my opinion, I didn't even post it. I have my own show, so I don't have to post it. Here's what really happened. We just have to admit that there's just people in this world that are assholes.
Yeah.
And these girls are assholes. And one thing that I do appreciate is they have identified themselves as assholes so that for the rest of their lives, they'll be like, oh, see that girl right there? She's an asshole.
Yeah.
So we shouldn't treat her with any sort of like love or respect because she's an asshole. That's one thing. One of the things that always, when someone is a secret asshole, because like I think you always hear this when dating. Like they always will sit there and a woman will say, you always watch how a man, or I feel as a man, look at a woman, how she treats servers. Because you might be finding a secret asshole.
Yeah.
And that's one of the ways. I think sometimes people don't realize that there are, it's not just rich people that are assholes. They just have the opportunity to be assholes. There's people that, shovel shit on the sidewalks that are complete assholes. They just don't have any opportunity to. Identify the assholes so that we can eventually find a way to just
rid them.
Get them out of here.
Yeah.
Just get them out of here. Just because you're an asshole. I don't like it.
High-five them with pineapple juice.
Exactly. Number 3, another news story that's happened this week or recently. The FCC changed a rule recently, the FCC being the Federal Communications Commission. They changed a rule that stated that it used to be that if a station broadcast in a town, they had to have studios in that town. Well, they just changed that rule. So now what everyone thinks is going to happen is you could be listening to a rock station in Pittsburgh and someone could go, hi, this is 102.5 WDVE. And the person who's there could be in a studio in New York.
Oh, my God.
And everyone's freaking out and going, oh, my God, this is terrible in the world. Here's what's actually happening, in my opinion. They're preparing for this. They're preparing for internet radio.
Oh.
They're preparing for the fact that they got to cut costs.
Yeah.
because like I love people who sit there. I saw this thing where they're like, "What's the future of local radio?" If you're listening to it, this is the future of local radio. It's over the internet. It's over. It's on TuneIn Radio. It's on the apps. It's on all this kind of stuff. And they're preparing for trying to squeeze another 20 years out of their radio stations, because of the fact that they're not going to have to pay for a couple $100,000 for a morning show. They could just have one morning show, which, have you ever heard of Bob and Tom?
No.
Bob and Tom, that's their business model. What they have done for years is they're out of Indianapolis, very mediocre, but every comic in the Midwest that tours always says that you might have heard him on Bob and Tom. What they did was they're out of Indianapolis and they go up to all these little stations. And they sit there and say, okay, you've had a morning team. You pay them $100,000 to be there between the 2 or 3 people. Pay us $40,000 and you can broadcast Bob and Tom. And then they go, okay, that's obviously instead of $100,000, I'll pay someone $40 and you can be Bob and Tom.
Yeah.
And so then they created this empire to where they're in all these little stations throughout the Midwest, because the people who own these stations sit there and say, well, I don't want to have to pay for a local guy.
Damn it. Why didn't we do that, Mike?
We should.
God.
Just take over internet radios, except for the fact, and I've attempted to listen to Bob and Tom, and it's just awful. It's so mediocre. It's so just canned laughter. We can be mediocre.
Yeah.
We already are mediocre.
Yeah. We're there. We got it. We might have to change our names, though.
Alex and Mike in the morning.
Yeah, that's not good.
What are our names?
I don't know. Something more similar to Bob and Tom. We need to be relatable.
Really?
You know?
Alex and Mike is relatable.
I don't know. Alex just doesn't seem. No, I wouldn't relate to that.
What would have to be your name? Like Jane or something like that?
Jane.
Something relatable.
I don't know.
Betty.
Pam.
Mike and Pam.
Mike and Pam in the morning.
Now we're really clearly like Light FM type stuff.
Yeah.
Light and Pam in the morning. Hey, did you read about that?
We have to be mediocre and appeal to mass audiences.
I know, but I have to talk like that, like I'm vomiting up, just nothingness.
I'll just talk normally.
Yeah, but no, here's how you ever. I should send it to you because it's so. It was Opie and Anthony were talking with Louis C.K. and Jim Norton, and they were saying that radio executives for years have been trying to get a female into the Opie and Anthony, and they refused at all points.
Yeah.
And they go, all women are when they're forced into those situations, they call them the hole. Obviously referring to part of the female anatomy.
What?
But also the fact that that's where all the funny goes.
Oh.
And they just essentially always the woman on these stations are always the voice of reason.
Yes.
And they're always just like, oh, come on, guys, that kind of shit. And just that would be one of the reasons why, if that's all you were, it's just something would just be I say something and you're like, Mike,
yes,
what's up with that?
I think that maybe as Pam, I would have maybe a Southern accent. I feel like people very much relate to women with Southern accents.
I think you need a Southern.
She's cute.
Okay.
I like her.
Do you have a little bit? Do you have a Southern accent ready to go?
I can. Maybe pick that up.
Actually,
I'll just listen to tapes in my sleep. That's how people do it, right?
Yeah. I personally think you have a very good radio voice. I've had people comment on that.
Yeah.
But you're just saying
that's the only reason I did this.
Is to get a radio voice?
No.
Is to eventually be the hole on
people hear my radio voice.
Oh, okay. Because this is not what you sound in normal. It's very real. I don't know. But
that's how I sound normally?
I'm kidding. It is. Totally it is.
All right, I'm leaving.
Okay. But all right, so number 2. Tiger Woods was golfing today.
Oh my God, is that what he does?
Yeah, I know, but not recently.
Mike.
I know. You guys. Said that was pretty good.
I know.
All right. No, I almost turned off my own show. That sounded so terrible. Yeah, he's back, and I actually watched golf because I saw Tiger Woods.
Oh, really golfing, not just for fun. For funsies.
No, he was. Yeah, he was competitively golfing again.
I don't know. Maybe I thought they had a camera in his backyard. He has a golf course back there.
If they had a camera in his backyard, they'd show a lot better stuff than him golfing. Because he fucks tall blondes. Anyways, But no, he was competitively golfing today, and when I was on the elliptical working out, there was the Pro Bowl, there was college basketball, and there was Tiger Woods golfing. And for the first time in like 3 years, instead of watching any of that, I watched Tiger Woods golfing.
What?
Which shows, again, my point about Tiger Woods is I'm not a huge golf fan when it's just like random 100 rich white dudes playing golf at Augusta National. But Tiger Woods adds something of excitement to it. He is going to be big this summer. Trust me, the Masters, if he is in the top 10, will be gigantic ratings.
I don't mind watching golf.
It's very relaxing.
Soothing.
Yeah, it's very relaxing.
Like the sounds, it's not too loud. No one's screaming. No one's screaming at golf.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Maybe the crazy golfers.
Here's what I would sit there and say.
What would you sit there and say?
With your dad probably has the big HD TV in the living room.
Sure.
Okay. Sunday at Augusta. Hopefully it's a beautiful April spring day here in Pittsburgh. Nice sunny day. I want you to get to your dad. Your dad will appreciate this. Just sit there on the couch, turn it up the Masters a little bit, and just watch it. And it really is like going to a spa. It is the most soothing. There's very few commercials. It's just like, and here's Phil Mickelson at the 17th hole. He's got a 10-foot putt for par.
Yeah, it's like watching poker.
Yeah. Poker bores me.
Oh, no. Super soothing and amazing.
No, I don't like that.
I like it.
I love golf.
I like to watch everyone's faces.
Really?
Yeah.
I've always just detested the fact that it's on a sports channel and it requires absolutely no athletic ability.
Oh, so much athletic ability. You have to make your face do certain things.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
That's athletic.
Okay.
You have to train for that shit.
Clearly, and the other thing that will be happening in the next couple weeks, which I am not looking forward to, again, is the Olympics.
Why don't you like the Olympics?
I like award shows better than I do the Olympics.
Why?
Because it's boring. Because there's a reason why if these sports were exciting, they'd be sports that we'd watch in between the Olympics, but we don't because they're boring.
My favorite thing is during the Olympics going to the bar and like when it's like 2 a.m. or like the bar's about to close, like what's on the Olympics right then, because it's always something weird, but people still get really excited about it at the bar because they're drunk, you know? Like what we did that last year at Scarps. I don't remember what we were watching. What's that one where you like do the little broomy thing and the little circle
curling
thing? Yeah, there you go. Yeah, we were watching curling and everyone was like super into it at the bar.
Curling's a cool looking sport. I mean, curling might, if in the top 5 of sports. Now, I will say Winter Olympics is a hell of a lot funner than Summer Olympics.
Yeah.
Because Winter Olympics, there's like cool stuff like downhill skiing. You have no idea who anybody is, but it's cool to see people go down a hill at like 80 miles an hour and then maybe crash and break their legs and stuff.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
Ooh.
That's super cool. And finally, as I mentioned before, not a huge fan of award shows. And so I really asked myself the question, Mike, why do you hate award shows?
Why, Mike?
Here's why. There is so much waste in the entertainment business. It's so tough for people to get enough money to make a movie, enough money to make an album, enough money to put on a comedy tour, whatever. And they always will sit there and say, no, it's too much of a waste, all this kind of stuff. And I'm sitting there, and you ever watch like the movie Entourage, and you see all of these people going to these lavish parties and all this other kind of stuff. Well, every time I watch stuff like that, I see what a gigantic waste of money that could actually go to making the product better. What do you mean, eh? Take the money you could have gone to Grammys and maybe write better music.
I guess. But, like, it's fun to celebrate things. You don't want to ever celebrate anything?
Only celebrate things that you earn. Next Sunday, someone's going to earn the Super Bowl trophy. They throw confetti, but it takes about 20 minutes. They get the trophy, they go on, we move on with our lives. I like that.
That is not what happens.
Yes.
There's parades and shit.
In the
Everyone talks
town, not
about
in
it for,
Pittsburgh.
like,
They're not. The Patriots aren't going to do a parade in Pittsburgh.
no, but they still, like, everyone talks about it for, like, a whole year afterwards.
Who's everyone?
Everyone.
Who's
That's
everyone?
all the news is about.
Not all the news, sports
Yep,
news.
all the news, all sports news.
Okay, you got to. You only channel that would talk about it constantly would be the NFL Network.
Yeah, so, like, what's the difference
Between what?
between that and, like, the Grammys?
The Grammys are awarding something that can never be quantified. You can't sit there and say, oh, this person wrote the best rap album. It's just, what, because a bunch of morons said it was? Take this money that you could have spent into product.
I think that they should do that with football too.
Like what? Like what are they overspending in terms of
Everything.
And to make better football?
Yeah.
You're making very little sense. This is almost as bad as the chili thing.
I just think that you should really get to like award shows because I think that it's a big, it's a big thing inside of you that I think you just need to let go and just enjoy them and just realize everyone's just celebrating things.
Nope. No celebrating.
Fine.
Hard work, Pam. Anyways.
They still do hard work.
Nope. All a bunch of drug users.
So if you got an award for being a comedian someday, which I'm not sure why, but like if you got that award, would you wouldn't go and accept it?
I'd go, but I would make my awards. I would do what Joe Pesci did when he got an Oscar. He just goes up to the microphone, says thanks, and walks away.
You'd still go there though.
Yeah, but then I'd leave afterwards, and then I'd go get a burger.
No.
There it goes. Boom, win, victory. Next up, we're going to do news and notes after this break. Then we will read Comment Your Ass Off. Again, comment your ass off about what we're talking about. We're not talking about much. We're just talking. That's all it is. It's the Mike Sasson Show on the River's Edge, www.riversedgepgh.com. We will be right back.
Hi, I'm Rob Spear, host of Damn Near Killed 'Em, an interview show where anything goes.
Once they gave it to me, you could have stuck a telephone pole up my ass.
I was about to be kicked out of the country.
That's where they send the worst of the worst.
In a psych ward, normal things seem so weird in there.
He was making $5,000 a month doing gay audiobooks.
Hear some stories from people who have been to the edge and back. Thursday morning at 9 a.m. on riversedgepgh.com or download on iTunes.
I mean, that's some pretty cool shit.
Anyways, here is the Mike Sasson Show on www.riversedgepgh.com. On the River's Edge, the best music, the best talk. See, I didn't put in local because it's just the best, simply the best, like Tina Turner said. My name's Mike Sasson. That is Alex Clemens. You might be listening to us on that or on TuneIn Radio or on SoundCloud, iTunes, or Google Play, or you're watching us on Facebook Live. But right now, you are watching news and notes from the world of entertainment, comedy, sports, and gossip. Play the song. Read an interesting article today. One of the big, possibly one of the big winners for this year for the Oscars is Margot Robbie and I, Tonya. And the guy she's out of Oregon. Tonya Harding, the person they based the movie out of, was initially out of Oregon. And so the sports writer who covered Tonya Harding from the very beginning through the trial, through everything like that, today wrote an article about when he saw the Tonya Harding movie and he called it I Nauseated instead of I, Tonya, and went down every single point in the movie where he was like, nope, that's bullshit. Nope, that's bullshit. Nope, they did this. Pretty much they said the movie portrays Tonya Harding as kind of like a sympathetic creature who, didn't know and just got caught up in a media firestorm and they didn't like her because she was, from a poor part of town and Nancy Kerrigan was a rich girl and blah, blah, blah. And he was just like, no, she was pure evil. She knew everything. Everything that happened to her negative, she had coming to her. Which brings up this point. Whenever you hear about a movie come out, a biopic, and then they invariably write the article about the stuff that they left out or the stuff that they changed or anything like that, they always say that's kind of a BS statement based on a true story. Because it's not, this is a true story. This is a true story means this is like a documentary, whatever. But if they say based on a true story, they took just like a kernel of truth and then made a movie around it.
Right. They want to make it interesting.
Yeah, but let me ask you a question. When someone does say, oh, you know what, that Tonya Harding movie is actually complete bullshit, this is actually what happened. Do you sit there and go, well, that sucks? Or do you sit there and go, I don't care?
Yeah, I don't really care because probably if it was all true, it wouldn't be interesting. There would be no point in watching the movie.
But if someone came up with a movie about a horrible human being and then kind of made the person sympathetic, like they sat there and made a movie about, I don't know, Tom Brady, and they sat there and made Tom Brady into a sympathetic creature, and then all of a sudden they're like, hey, wait a minute, they glossed over this, this, and this, and this. Would you be like, well, it was a fun time at the movies?
Yeah. I mean, as long as you know that that's not the truth, and if you really are concerned about it, you go and research the truth and you understand like what really happened, then yeah.
That is the kind of
I don't really
dork I
think it
am.
needs to be-
I have been in movie theaters and saw something of a movie that was based on a true story, and in the movie theater, I've Wikipedia'd it
yeah.
and done all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like the other new one right now that will win a ton of Oscars is Darkest Hour.
Yeah.
And they basically glossed over Winston Churchill and the fact that he was kind of an asshole and that he was kind of racist and all this other kind of stuff, which it then becomes the point of like, okay, yeah, he spearheaded the Battle of Britain and saving Great Britain during World War II, which might have saved Western civilization, but on the other hand, he might have been a racist prick. Which, do you put that in the movie, thus making, I don't know. That's the thing. That's why I'm going to make movies, because they're going to stop the Oscars and invest more into my movies.
Right.
Next up, someone who needs to be made a movie of is Jay-Z. He had an interview on CNN this past weekend in which he pretty much admitted he cheated on Beyonce.
Oh, Jay-Z.
Now, let me ask you this
That
question.
doesn't even happen.
If you eventually marry a super rich, famous guy,
Yeah.
is it pretty much, do you have to accept the fact he's going to cheat on you?
I don't know. Why? Can I cheat on him?
Sure, why not?
Okay, then yeah, I guess I could accept it. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
But like, you're Beyonce.
I
You're one
think
of the most beautiful, famous, insanely talented women on the planet, insanely talented entertainers on the planet Earth, and you got to deal with the fact that your husband's getting strange.
Yeah. I know. I think I'd be okay with it.
You'd still be okay with it if you were Beyonce?
Yes, I think you should you should understand that going into it.
So you're sitting there saying your girlfriend starts crying and marries some like big time athlete and says, "Ooh, he cheated on me." And be like, dude.
Yeah, you should have seen that.
Yeah, come on. You would not be the sympathetic person to do with that.
Go cheat on him.
You'd be like, you know what? Let's go hook up with some dudes.
Yeah.
And then, if you wanted to hook up with some dudes, like really kind of like find a place for some quick hookups, where are you going?
Really, anywhere. It's very easy for me, Mike.
Okay, maybe the other woman you're with you is not as exactly.
I'm a very approachable person.
I understand, but let's say you're trying to get your friend laid.
Yeah.
Where do you go?
I don't know. Probably any bar.
Any bar.
Yeah.
Is there a place where you would know the men are a little bit more?
I would try and go to a pretty people bar.
Okay. Where are the best top 5 pretty people bars in Pittsburgh?
I know at least one.
Summit, you've already talked about. Okay.
Yeah, that's my number one go-to.
So if your boyfriend knows right now, if it's going, you mess with me and I'm going to go get a pretty person, he knows to find you at the Summit.
Yeah. Basically.
And ETA. How long would it take you to get a decent looking dude to like let's get at it?
Well, I need
under
to,
a half hour.
Yeah.
Okay.
As long as they're there.
Okay.
As long as I don't have to wait for them to.
How forward
get to
would
the
you be?
bar.
Would you just be like, hey, this is my friend. I'm here. We're kind of
my boyfriend cheated on me. Just trying to get so strange.
And then he's just like, let's do it. And then you're just like, let's do it. And then
Yeah.
it's like, bum bum, like in the beginning of Wild Thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Remember in the beginning?
That's exactly what I was thinking.
There you go. See, this is the mind of Alex. There you go. Number 1, and also another thing that you would probably like, you like Disney, right?
No.
Okay. You like beer, right?
Yes.
Well, if anyone ever forces you to go to Disneyland, they have announced the first brewery at Disneyland.
That's very exciting.
I went to Disney World when I lived in Orlando when I was like a little kid.
Yeah.
And people have always said, hey, would you ever want to go back? I've never thought of a reason why I'd want to go back.
So expensive. Like, you can go to so many other places and do so many other things.
It's just an amusement park, right? It's just nothing.
I did like, when we did go, I did like Downtown Disney, which is where this brewery is going. I did like that part the best because it was less like kid-y, like there was like fun restaurants and like.
But that's LA. There's fun restaurants everywhere.
Right. Yeah. I wouldn't I wouldn't purposely go there, but if I had to go there, that's where I would go. That or Epcot because there's delicious food.
That's it.
Yep.
But there's delicious. I mean, Epcot is Florida. Florida, I would sit there and say you got to go to Disney World because the rest is Orlando and it's just weather and beaches.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where in LA, there's just more stuff to do.
Yeah, I would pick LA over Disney, but if I was forced to go to Disney.
You'd go to the brewery.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we agree. Disney World,
Better with
Disneyland sucks. Anyways, Prince. There was always big when Prince died a few years ago. They had a big thing about the fact that he had all this backup music. Like he literally, they said, had like 30 albums that he just never released because the guy, he turned his entire house pretty much into a recording studio.
Yeah.
Like he could just press a button in his bathroom and lay down tracks. Like that's what he made Paisley Park into. Well, they announced that they're pretty close to releasing the first of the unreleased albums this year. And they did an interview with the guy and they said, okay, why is this taking so long? Is it tough to mix all this stuff? And he's like, no, this stuff is pretty much almost ready to go. The problem is all the legalities of it because Prince wasn't real big on like wills and stuff.
Right.
So like it was weird talking about like, for instance, first off, he has like 6 heirs. He didn't designate who gets what, so they're fighting in court about it. Then on top of that, he had like 3 or 4 different studios, like record companies that he performed for. Like, and so they've got to figure out, okay, when did he record this? Did he record when he was under the moniker of Warner Brothers? Did he record when he was under the moniker of Universal? Or the last 2 albums were like independently released and all this other kind of stuff. So then they have to figure it out and go with there and all this other kind of stuff. And that's why there hasn't been a new Prince album in a while.
Yeah, because he's like dead.
Yeah.
It's hard.
But they can't figure out who owns it because if it sells 1 billion copies, who gets all that dough?
Does he want it released?
Well, he's dead. He doesn't get a choice.
Yeah.
Probably not. Like they just released a new Jimi Hendrix album.
Really?
Yeah, they just found more stuff that he recorded and they gussied it up and went from there. The worst story I ever heard about this kind of stuff was Nirvana. The way they had unreleased stuff.
Yeah.
And obviously there's Chris Novoselic and Courtney Love acts in the representative of Kurt Cobain and then Dave Grohl.
Yeah.
And so they had this new stuff. They had stuff that they hadn't released, and Chris Novoselic and Dave Grohl were like, yeah, let's release it. It sounds great. Let's ready to go. And Courtney Love just stopped it from going out for like 20 years.
Yeah.
Until she got like a better deal.
Okay.
Because of course Courtney Love, what has she been doing recently? Anyways, so hopefully we get a new Prince album coming out. Do you know who Aaron Hernandez is?
Yeah.
Okay, he killed himself because he's a murdering asshole. And by the way, he was this close to going to the University of Connecticut to play football.
Oh my God.
I know.
You could have been best friends.
Well, he was well after me, but we would have been like at reunions and stuff like that.
Aw.
In which he would have been like, hey, I'm Aaron Hernandez. I'm a murdering asshole. And I'm like, hi, I'm Mike.
Maybe he wouldn't have been.
I know. If he went to UConn, I think we would have turned him around.
Yeah.
Because his brother went there and was a non-murdering asshole.
Weird.
Isn't it?
That's weird. Yeah.
It is weird.
Yeah.
Anyways, the Patriots, who will play in the Super Bowl next week, are talking. They've kind of like gone that under the rug. Like last week, they had a montage of all of the postseason touchdowns in Tom Brady's history, and they kind of didn't mention that 2 of them were thrown to Aaron Hernandez.
Oh.
So one of the things that has come out is the fact that they've kind of played it off like, oh, how could we have known, and all this other kind of stuff. Well, Bart Scott, who played linebacker for the Jets, was on radio this week and said, when Aaron Hernandez played, we used to talk smack to him about the fact of like, oh, you better watch out. They just found the bodies. They knew that at Florida, he was rumored to have shot 2 people.
Damn.
And so the fact that the Patriots kind of claim like, oh, there's no way we could have known is complete BS.
Huh.
They totally knew that this guy was an A1 scumbag. So when you're watching next week, understand, they're scumbags. But they're playing Philadelphia, which means, again, now North Korea should shoot the missile. That should be what should happen. Get rid of the Patriots and the Eagles.
Over football. Yes,
Yeah.
definitely do it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you know what? Give Jacksonville a Super Bowl. Fine. They'll have fun with it. Anyways, moving on. You ever seen the movie Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure?
I have. That is one of the movies that I've seen.
Okay. Fun movie. Very, it's about kids who go back in time to do a history. They have the phone booth and all that other kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I read this article today that for the last couple years, they have had a script for a sequel.
Uh-huh.
And Keanu Reeves, who obviously does John Wick and did The Matrix and is a big star, he has agreed to it. He goes, yeah, I love this script. Let's do it. And Alex Winter, who is not Keanu Reeves, is like, yeah, I need to work. I don't do much. And so you'd think that, okay, if Keanu Reeves, one of the biggest movie stars in the world, wants to add on to this movie that even Alex Clemens has seen, so obviously has a big time, following, why hasn't this movie been made? Here's why it hasn't been made. because anytime they get into discussions about making a third Bill and Ted, some Hollywood jerk-off sits there and says, why are we going to get these two old guys? Why don't we get two young guys and we can redo the thing? Exactly.
That doesn't work.
That's the point. I don't want to see a revamped Bill and Ted.
No.
I want a funny movie about Bill and Ted. Because the point of the movie, they released essentially, the guy who wrote it talked about exactly what it's about. You remember that Bill and Ted, the whole point is at the end of the movie, it turns out that they're going to save the world by becoming wild stallions.
Yeah.
Well, the movie takes place in modern day. They're in their 50s, and they're not wild stallions. So they kind of have to come to grips with wait a minute, it didn't happen. Did we screw up? Is the world going to be awful? What's the whole point of all this stuff? Which I think is a unique kind of thing in a sense of, the whole quote unquote midlife crisis of okay, I had all these dreams, and in their case, we were supposed to become this great band. We didn't become it. What's the point? But no, Hollywood assholes are like, no, let's get some 19-year-old kids to do it. And I'm just like,
I mean, how many movies, I feel like not many movies have even done that. They've revamped it with the same people, as older people. I feel like.
Because they always do the same thing. For instance, Karate Kid, they bring in Will Smith's kid.
Yeah.
And it sucked.
Yeah.
And no one cared. Because they want to see Ralph I think it would be funny if they had Ralph, not funny, but have Ralph Macchio in modern day have to deal with the fact that, okay, let's say now his kid's getting beat up and maybe he teaches his kid karate and all that kind of stuff. That would be a fun movie. I'd watch that. Then another time they sat there and they talked about the fact that they wanted to redo The Breakfast Club and maybe do it modern day where obviously they find them again or maybe they come to a reunion and they figure out where they are in lives and all that kind of stuff. But no, someone said, no, why don't we do it with 4 new kids?
Yeah.
And you're just like, no, you're all
Don't
dumb.
do that.
See,
maybe we should be in Hollywood.
We should do, Mike and Pam in the morning.
Mike and Pam in the morning.
Yeah, and do it like that. That would be the voice. Mike and Pam in the morning.
It's very relaxing.
Very relaxing. Yeah, we don't yell. We just sit there.
Yeah, I don't know how you could be relaxing, but we'll try.
We'll figure it out.
Work on it.
Enough money, I can be relaxing. This I thought was funny. A bar in New York City that is located near NYU. Mm-hmm. It's universally known as a place where college kids who go to NYU go for cheap drinks. Because if for New York standards, they you can get 12 shots for $10.
Damn.
And yeah, in New York, that's a godsend. But it's kind of a quirky bar. And one of the things they have is if you are heard saying the word literally, like how I say it sometimes, and I try not to, but you say, literally, I saw blah, 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 blah. They have put on the sign that they'll kick you out. So it's a bar that has banned the incorrect use of the word literally.
Could you imagine that, though? This is probably, the boss that, put this into place. And then you're, as an employee, you're like, oh, God, I got to kick this person out because they just said literally. Really? Do I really have to do that?
Yeah.
That's a shitty part. It just makes your job a little shittier that you have to
and
kick
someone's just
out.
hey, I'm just having a good time. Sorry I used literally the incorrect way.
Yeah, and I'd be like, it's okay. It's cool. It's fine.
And then some other kiss-ass employee's like, well, I just heard that literally. Did you bust him for that first literally?
Yep, and then you're fired.
Yeah.
Because you didn't kick someone out for saying literally.
Yeah, and then you're literally fired.
Yep.
I just think that's a very, kind of New York thing. It's I'm kicking you out if you do literally. And it's just dude,
I guess good for them. It looked like they had so many other signs, too, of, things that you can't do in the bar.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go to the bar.
Yeah, even if it has cheap drinks.
Yeah.
Or you just take the shots and then you just leave.
Yeah. Don't even say anything.
And then you go hook up with someone at a pretty bar.
Yeah, I guess.
There you go. Last story.
Okay, what is it?
I know a lot about appliances. So this caught my eye. Air Force One needs new refrigerators.
Okay.
And so they came out with, they're going to spend money on 2 new refrigerators to replace the old refrigerators. Now, these refrigerators are big refrigerators. They need to be able to contain 3,000 meals. They supposedly have 70 cubic feet, which a decent sized refrigerator probably has 25. So imagine 2 refrigerators that are going to be the average, I would say 3 good size conventional refrigerators. But guess how much they cost?
How much?
$24 million.
Jesus Christ.
Here's my problem. Do you know who they're getting to make the refrigerators?
Ken Moore.
Boeing. That's the problem. You can't go to Boeing and ask them to make refrigerators. Go to Whirlpool to make them refrigerators. Go to Sub-Zero to get some refrigerators made. That's like sitting there going, hey, we got to get the president a burger. Where should we go? I don't know. Let's go to Target. No, go to Burger King. Get them to get the burgers. That's the problem with our government. The bid came in, Boeing doesn't know anything about refrigeration. They make airplanes. You don't ask Whirlpool to make Air Force One. You don't ask Boeing to make the refrigerator in Air Force One. That's the problem. People should know what they do well and then go from there. You know what I do well? This show, especially with Alex, which is why we love you and we want to talk about your comments, which is why we have Comment Your Ass Off. Alex, play the song.
Hello to the world. Say hello to the villain that's been you out.
Again, it's Comment Your Ass Off, where we read the comments that you spoke to us about because we love you, and Alex loves every one of you as well. All right, Alex, what do we got?
I don't.
You don't love all of our listeners?
I'm kidding. I probably love them more than you do. Because I just have more love to give.
BS. Why do you think they come up to me and say, hey, Mike, I respect,
Because I'm just too pretty.
I don't think that's true. I think I'm very pretty as well.
Liam said that he will rent us his wireless headphone kit for $50 a show, so that you don't have to complain about headphones anymore. How nice of him!
I know. Only $50 a show.
Yeah, only $50.
Yeah, not even 75.
Nope.
50.
Robert says you panic whenever your mom calls you at 3 in the afternoon. That's what you do. You panic.
Yeah, absolutely, you do. You don't want to hear on the other end of the line that she wants to spend $90 to uncorrupt the system. What does that even... You know what? I know we're watched in India. Come up with a new one. When me, Mike Sasson, not the greatest computer mind in the history of the world, knows you're full of shit, you got to come up with a better line. Go ahead.
Liam also says that Taco Bell is even involved in her engagement plans. My engagement plans, it is involved in them.
Okay,
Taco Bell is involved in every part of my life.
Okay, what are your engagement plans involved in Taco Bell?
Well, you know the taco sauce packets that say, will you marry me? And then there's another one that says, I do. You know? And then there's even one now that says, I'm taken. So I'm not quite sure if they still have the will you marry me ones, but I've saved multiple just in case they're not.
So you would hand it to your beau?
No, they're proposing to me.
Oh, so you'd hand them to the person and say, this is how you propose to me?
Find them.
So they have to go through your stuff?
I would have them in a accessible place.
What if he doesn't even see what it says?
They would talk to my friends and be like, hey, you know. But or he'd special order them. He'd talk to Taco Bell, and then Taco Bell sponsors our wedding. That sounds great. I didn't even think of that before.
This sounds really, really...
It's going to be beautiful. We're going to have tacos. It's going to be in the morning, I think, maybe.
Morning?
Yeah. And we're going to have tacos, and it's just going to be a beautiful morning. And then he's like, Alex, I want to eat tacos with you for the rest of my life.
And then he hands you the packet of Will You Marry Me sauce.
Yep. And then there's a ring in the taco. That sounds nice.
You better not eat the taco.
Oh, no, yeah, he would do it before I ate.
Would it be in the taco or would it be in a pile of nachos? Like on top?
No.
I would say on top of a pile of nachos.
No, I want it in the taco.
Okay. Soft or hard?
Right on top. Hard taco, so you could see it.
Okay. Would it be a Taco Bell?
At Taco Bell?
Would it be a Taco Bell nacho taco? It would be like one of those highfalutin taco places.
No, it would be Taco Bell. We would have to get Taco Bell.
But you're eating your taco in the morning?
Yeah.
Okay.
I eat Taco Bell in the morning all the time.
Okay. All right. Well, they make tacos
really need
for you.
To start doing that.
Will you eat if you go there at 8 in the morning, since they're open for breakfast, will they make you a taco?
I don't know.
You're the one who sits there and says I should eat Taco Bell in the morning.
You should eat Taco Bell. I mean, they have different things for the morning.
I know they do, but you said remember you always got mad that McDonald's doesn't make you a burger at 4 in the morning.
Yeah. See, I usually just get Taco Bell, and then I have extra Taco Bell, and then I eat that extra Taco Bell in the morning.
I've never able to. If I have Taco Bell, I'm eating the Taco Bell.
Okay.
I'm finishing the bag.
Well, I'm not the same as you.
You're not as gigantic. You're not the large human I
I didn't
am.
want to say that.
I know. You thought it. You're like, yeah, I'm not the big giant fatty you are. Go ahead.
Zach also says Taco Bell fries are fire. Fire. That's how good they are.
Really? So let me ask you a question. Does Zach like them better than you?
I don't know. I don't know this, Zach.
I know, but I'm like saying, like you're saying, he's saying they're fire. Are you saying, or do you disagree or agree?
You know what I was really upset about is that they didn't give you a fork, and I literally was like scooping shit out of this bowl.
Mm-hmm.
I was just scooping it with my hands, and I had to go into work with, I obviously like wash my hands off and stuff, but like, just scooping shit out of there.
I would sit there and say that's on you. That's why you open up the bag and see that you got the straw, you've got what you ordered.
Ew, you're that horrible person that sits there for like 5 minutes, and that's why the line is hold up.
I don't spend 5 minutes. I just take a quick gander. You have to.
But I don't know what I did. It was the first time I ever got them. I didn't know what I was getting.
I mean, but again, you obviously
Then I'd
would know
have to
that.
open up the whole thing, and that would take so much time.
No, all you need to know is that if there's a fork, take
But
a
I
look in
didn't
the
know
bag.
if I would need a fork.
You need to know that you've had like chili, you've had like big like cheese fries before. Don't you typically need to?
I didn't know how much cheese. It depends on how much cheese and things are on top of it. If you need a fork.
See, I think this is the difference between you and me. I would have planned. I would have known that eventually. What's the deal with the fork?
I just like to live life on the edge, Mike.
I know, and guess what? Living life on the edge did. It made it that you had messy hands walking into work. Mike has clean hands walking into work. Boom, win, victory, doing it every day.
I'm gonna keep a count of how many times you say that in the show, and then have people judge if it was actually a victory or not.
Victory is mine.
That's
Go
all
ahead.
our comments, though.
Okay, thank you very much for everyone who commented. Thank you very much for us who listened. And keep listening to The River's Edge, the best music, the best talk. Notice I did not say local because I agree it's the best talk ever. Also, if you want to watch me do comedy, this Friday, February 2nd, I will be up in Cranberry doing comedy. So check it out. Check out my Facebook page if you live up in the Cranberry area. Also, check out my friend and friend of the show, Shannon Norman, is recording his album. Check out his Facebook page. You want to go there. He's going to have 2 recordings. One will be at Club Cafe, I believe, and the other one will be at Hambones. And then also our friend Aaron Kleiber is recording at the Homestead. The Homestead Theater,
nice.
Pittsburgh Homestead Theater, big time thing, and go support those guys. Support local comedy, support local music, support local everything. The 9th of February, Friday, I will be doing my comedy in support of the Millvale Music Festival.
Woo!
That's why people approach me more, because you know what? They know that I'm out there with the people. You guys start doing stand-up.
No one wants that.
Yeah, everyone wants it.
Nope.
Everyone wants it. Do something artistic other than this.
Oh, thank you, Mike.
Yeah. Everyone loves Alex. Anyways, it's the Mike Sasson Show. We will be back next week. Super Bowl Sunday, we'll be back here. We'll figure it out. See you later. Bye.